famous quote by Nelson Mandela: "Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." Hi, my name is Mike Gavarici. I'm your host for a program called America Arbor of Hope. Today I have a guest through Zoom, and his name is Anthony Adetoy. He's a Army veteran retired, and he was kind enough to join me for this episode of uh, America Arbor of Hope. Uh, Anthony, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll just take it from here.
Sure. How you doing? It's nice to finally meet you. My name
Same
is
here.
Anthony Adetoy. I live in North Carolina currently, but I'm originally from California. I'm a 25-year Army veteran. I've deployed 3 times, once to Iraq, 2 times to Afghanistan. I've been retired for the last 5 years and pretty much just loving life.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so. Let me tell people about myself. I'm a refugee from Iran and migrated to America over 35 years ago. It took me almost 2 years to come here and as legally. Uh, the reason we're actually doing this program is I have noticed for the past years, almost say 20 years, how America has become divided. Also, I see how some Americans take America and her core values for granted, like our freedom. Uh, Based on my experience uh, and living on different part of the this nation, I came up with an acronym for America. For this episode, which we'll cover it, we'll go over letter R for resilience. I share my view of letter with you, and I want you express your view of what do you think of resilience. For about America, uh, and hopefully with this we can enlighten and encourage some of people towards solidarity and unity. So, what does resilience mean? It means the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, and also uh, it represents, toughness. This is a subject I can go on for long hours, but for the purpose of this program, I will keep things short and brief. So, do you want to, Anthony, start, with, your point of view as far as what do you think, about resiliency of America?
Well, it really gets to depend on which aspects of America that we're talking about. America as a whole, I believe, is very resilient. As a country, as a people, as a unified people, we've gone through some pretty tremendous things, and we've always seemed to band together and get through it. There was 9/11, the attacks on 9/11. The country, banded together. We all one team, one fight. Uh, Another aspect is within the military, resilience is trained quite thoroughly because the deployments that we've had to Iraq, to Afghanistan, other places in the world. They've put a lot of stress on resilience, teaching resilience, practicing resilience to basically help soldiers out. This is actually a very good thing. It's a thing I was always happy to be part of, to receive the training myself, and then also to give the training back out, and then basically just teach it by example. Try not to stress out, not yelling or being mad unnecessarily. So, trying to keep a light mood. I'm a humorous guy. I like to mess around a lot with a lot of people. Even now, I still have been known to tell a joke or two. So it's all part of resilience. Humor is one way I express my resilience. The funnier I am probably the more stressed off I
uh, well, uh, my uh, how I came up, with this, uh, letter for R, uh, resilience, is uh, through history, America has experienced, as you said, many challenges, like American Revolution. I go back to the history of this nation, Civil War, the two wars, World War One and World War Two, uh, crash of stock market, uh, civil right movement, uh, Vietnam War, September 11 attack, uh, invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, and now COVID-19, uh, so many other events that has tested our resiliency, and every time we have become stronger as a nation. Uh, so that's my that's how I see America as a resilient, country. And if I go back to the very first people they migrated here, uh, and you can, maybe elaborate, on this as well. It's I see, adversity builds, resilience. Difficult times build characters, like it did to pilgrims. They took on the voyage to escape religious persecution and wanted to be free from oppression in England. Some people say it took him 2 months of challenging journey and losing some of uh, people through disease, and they died. And finally, they made it, to America. Um, I want to say their life experience, uh, coming to America with that kind of challenges, uh, in my view, they planted, the seeds of resiliency, and resiliency has become part of the culture and the fabric of this nation. What your thoughts are?
Well, I would have to agree with you, especially since you mentioned the trip, to America, whether it be on a slave boat coming into ports in Charleston or whether it be through Ellis Island. Just the trip itself, shows it like a determination of people through all walks of life, picking up, leaving everything that they know for the opportunity, the chance at something that they perceive can be better, from wherever they're at.
Mhm.
Uh, this isn't something that's often done by somebody, like a weak spirit. You have to want something like this. You have to be resolved. You have to, want this like deep in your core. It's not like I want a pizza, I can't have it. Okay, I'll go for a burger. You have to fight for it and try and achieve it by all means. And sometimes people have absolutely nothing, and they're still able to, do this. I've had friends, who came over from Mexico and had to go through this. And I listen to their stories, sometimes I'm just like, wow, you went through a lot to be here sitting with me on this park bench. I was born here. I didn't have to do anything except wake up and walk over. You had to do so much more than me. And it puts a lot of things in perspective, as you were talking about earlier when you started. Uh, some people fight for what's given to other people freely. And it's actually very admirable. Sometimes I get choked up just thinking about it.
Well, is since you mentioned, is the Mexicans, I personally, I escaped through the mountains just, more than 35 years ago. And uh, there were times that, it was not easy. And in my case, it was in November of 1983. I had to climb with other people, and we had, a 9 months old baby with us, and her parents, they were going through tough times, and but as you know, we as a group, we made it, and I wanted to. Uh, it was not easy, and but as you know, as a human being, you adapt, and if you are focused on your objective, and uh, where you are heading, you have that light, and you have an aim. It makes it much more clear. And for me, uh, I wasn't sure, I'm going to make it to America, but that was my hope, because that was, my destiny. That was the destination I left Iran for. Uh, and and I have covered it, in our past episodes. Uh, so yeah, the character of resilience is it is it's one of I think is very important for every one of us. And so here I have, on uh, a resilient society can maintain control of a situation and think of new ways to solve problems. Another word, resilience people understand that life is full of challenges and problems are part of life. So if you can digest this concept of problems and challenges are part of life, so not everything going to be hunky dory, and
That would
everything
be
can.
awesome if it was.
Yeah, I wish it was, but it's not.
Mhm.
And especially as I mean, it's becoming more challenging with some of the issues that we as a human race we have to face uh, in years ahead of us, like climate change and global warming. For some people, for those of us that believe in it, uh, but is yeah, it is as this subject of resiliency, we can go on and on and on for hours, and this how significant this concept is, for us as a human being. So that is. Do you want to add anything else to this, or we can just maybe wrap it up?
Well, I believe there's no new problems under the sun. You know, a lot of people like to think what's happening today in their lives, what's happening in society, in the world, is something brand new that's never been seen before. And that's just not true. Luckily, we don't have to worry about Vikings coming up on the shore anymore. Or we don't have to worry about the bubonic plague, little things like that. I don't look across my backyard and see an army of Hessians, with axes coming to come get me and all that. We have different things as society evolves, you know, uh, and that in and of itself is like kind of like a resilience. We're sitting there, we have new problems. We have to deal with these new problems as they're coming along. One of the newest things is, like you said, climate change. We didn't have to worry about this 200 years ago, but this is something that needs to be addressed and that we're looking at right now. So
Mhm.
hopefully we make the right decisions.
Well, that's a different subject, and it's a different conversation, because if we could foresee some of these problems that we are facing today, 50 years ago, we would have probably changed some of our plans and policies, uh, and that is again it's a different conversation. Uh, so I usually end my conversation, with another quote, and I want to thank you for joining this episode, and I end with another quote by Eric Grittens. Uh, we all have battles to fight, and it's often in those battles that we are most alive. It's on the front lines of our lives that we earn wisdom, create joy, forge friendships, discover happiness, find love, and do purposeful work. So just like you were saying, we it is uh, this concept of resilience is it's a very important part of our life, and I hope we come out of this COVID-19 more united, and we can defeat it, which is because that's what it takes. I want to again thank you for joining this episode, and I thank
Thanks for having
everyone.
me, Mike.
Oh, you bet you, yeah, you bet you, and uh, I want to thank everyone that has been watching, and hopefully they can join us for our next episode.